Marketer of the Day, episode 740. Use your book to land local clients, build a local media asset, consistently post on social media, and create a delegated business.
Hey, welcome everybody to Local Marketing Agency Secrets. I'm Drew Griffin, hanging out with my homeboy, David Calafiore, on the wrong side of
What's up?
What's cooking, man?
We're just making it through the riots.
Yeah.
Making it through the riots and the coronavirus and all of these things. It feels like the world is falling apart sometimes. It's just insane. But with that, all is good. We've got a great guest today, someone with a really interesting background that I think everybody will appreciate and perhaps learn something from.
Speaking of riots, let's talk to our good friend, good pal, colleague, JV partner at times, Robert Plank. Robert, what's cooking, buddy?
Just living my best life, getting my day started.
Yeah, well, before we jump into everything, congratulations on the new addition to the Plank family. I see that, this little guy is plastered all over the interwebs and clearly is a Robert Plank descendant.
Yes. I heard just this morning that sometimes your baby looks like you and you can see the resemblance, but this baby looks like an exact clone of me. And it's great because you post baby pictures and it's guaranteed at least 50 likes. So if there's no other reason to have a baby, it's because you get all the Facebook likes.
Social engagement.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to come out with the Plank meme edition, just baby pictures. That's all it is. It's guaranteed to get you at least 50 likes and engagements on each and every single one of your posts. That's awesome.
Yes. And I mean, you and I and David have talked about even working some of the local business LMA stuff into all the babiness, like go get some print on demand onesies made, right? Plug the URL for your LMA, locate restaurants and accountants in your town and get a custom onesie made with their business name, their logo, their phone number, their URL. I am looking into all of that. I will 100% exploit my kid to make some money.
I love it. That's entrepreneurial mindset right from the get-go. I love that. Entrepreneurial exploitation. We need more of that in the world.
I agree completely.
Yeah. So Robert, bring us up to speed. Tell us a little bit about who Robert Plank is and, what your background is. And boy, you get your hands into a lot of different things. So what's working for you today? Tell us a little bit more about your business, your partnership, all that kind of stuff.
What is working for me these last several years is podcasting. I'm Robert Plank. My website is marketeroftheday.com. I am a former computer programmer, much like you two gentlemen. And also much like you two gentlemen, I realized at a certain point that the thing you create, your product, your website, it is only going to get you so far. At some point, you need to involve other people who have bigger lists than you, who have more reach than you, who have connections than you. And that's what marketing is all about. And if you don't go that route, then you're going to be working a lot harder than you need to be working. You're going to be some secret weapon that no one knows about. You're going to be some kind of undiscovered genius. You'll be at the bottom 200 listing in the app store and it'll be just some obscure thing. And at some point you have to get yourself out there, even though it's awkward. You have to create the YouTube videos, make the blog posts, do the live streams, get on the webinars, get on the podcast. And my business partner, Lance Tomashiro, is a direct result of that because I started out just trying to do freelance programming. And we know how that goes, right? It's an easy recipe for people to keep negotiating your rates down, and the scope creep enlarges, and you end up doing job after job where you keep getting baited and switched. You think you're going to go in and do this work, a week of work for $1,000. Next thing you know, it's 6 months later, and you're still waiting on that $1,000. And that's how things were for me in the teenage years and the high school, college years. And at some point, I realized I had to put myself out there, right? I had to create the product. So I created information products, PDFs, and videos on how to be a computer programmer, which again only got me so far because then my audience became people that were stuck on their homework, or there were a lot of people overseas in India, Russia, the Philippines, who were stuck on their own programming jobs. And there were some of us dumb Americans who were paying them big bucks and they were stuck. So they were going and paying me $20, $30 to solve their problem for their $5,000 programming job. And then all those products eventually led to me building a list and asking people what they wanted next. And what they wanted next were things like website templates, sales letter templates, and membership plugins, backup plugins. And then it kind of evolved from there of building a list, letting people vote with their wallets, and then going out there and networking and appearing on other podcasts, having other people on my podcast. And now I'm kind of a blend, again, much like you two, where I can do the techie, geeky stuff, but also make it fun and exciting and interesting and simple. And then you've had Lance Tomashiro on before, who at one point he became one of my students. So all the products evolved into big courses that taught membership sites, courses that taught video marketing. And he was my best student. And he went in there and he did every single assignment. He set up everything I told him to. And then at one point he wore me down and said, well, why not the two of us create a course together and then see how that works out? And that worked out great. And then next thing you know, he's my business partner. And then recently he has gotten me into doing more outsourcing, more delegating, so that way we can, again, be the face of things and be the marketing people, but then also assign tasks to other people to do the work that maybe we don't want to do, the work that we fall behind off, the work we fall behind on, and then also to explore some of the new kind of things on the fringe that we haven't yet gotten to, like new traffic sources, new ways to promote our podcast, new ways to reach out to local businesses. And that's where I'm at. So former computer programmer, but I also enjoy still creating courses, podcasting, and outsourcing.
That's awesome. Well, understanding the mechanics of everything is where you've come from, right? So you've paired up with Lance and you seem to have systematized everything. Do you still enjoy getting into, the mechanics of things, the whole podcasting thing and editing things down and all that kind of stuff? Or are you more inclined now to outsource everything?
I still enjoy some aspects of things, and Lance pointed this out maybe 6 months ago, that I enjoy creating the proof of concept. And I noticed from him that he enjoys setting up the infrastructure. And so what that means is, let's say that we're creating a backup plugin, and I enjoy making it work, making like the basic bare bones thing, creating it from nothing, but then maintaining it, building it, adding all these extra features, dealing with customer support. Those are all things that I don't enjoy, but I enjoy getting it from zero to something that is working, that's not perfect. And so that's been kind of interesting, that it's not all or nothing. There's certain specific, I don't know, like ways of thinking or certain specific tasks that scratch the itch. That proof of concept for me.
That's awesome. I know that, you also do some other things. I mean, I'm right dead smack in the middle of one of your courses right now. It's all about authoring a book. Tell us a little bit more about that program and kind of how you came up with it, because I know that you are a multi-book author at this point. And I think writing a book or authoring a book is probably an amazing tool that most local marketers could probably use in their back pocket moving forward. Maybe not necessarily to sell a bunch of books, maybe that is their goal, but they could also leverage that book as an amazing business card and proof of concept for local businesses to want to work with them. So bring us up to speed on your book process.
Well, yeah, as you said, everyone needs a book. And I think that sometimes people talk themselves out of a book because they don't realize that there's about 6 or 7 avenues to go. There's different things that a book can get you. And the default, for some reasons, people think that they're going to sell 1 million copies of the book. They think that they're going to appear on these talk shows, but you can just use your book as a business card. And as you were just asking me this question just now, for some reason, a memory popped into my head of maybe 20 plus years ago, where I think I had like some new hard drive, or I had some new piece to my computer. And my dad walked into my bedroom and he wanted it. And I think it was like a 36 gigabyte hard drive. It was brand spanking new at the time. And he wanted to buy it off me for cheaper than I had literally just bought it. And I was like, no way. Like, it took me forever to get this. I had to wait for it to get in the mail. And then he pulls out a crisp $100 bill. Like, you know, when money's like brand new and it's still kind of, you can smell the ink off of it.
Yeah.
And just seeing like the crisp $100 bill, and you can even see like that little like strip, the tracking like magnetic strip on it. And suddenly like my brain just went crazy. And I was like, just because I see the crisp $100 bill in his hands, like, I'm like, sure, here you go. Here's the hard drive. So he got me just based off of the tangible thing right there in the moment. And so a lot of people really need to experience that, right? A lot of people need to get to the point where you can hold your book in your hand and you can see yourself on the cover. And because, it opens a lot of doors for you. And like we're saying, you don't have to sell 1 million copies of it. You can even create a book with nothing on the inside, right? You can even create a book that's super tiny. And here's like the usual size of book you have, but you can create something really tiny and just make a list of like 10 things that the local pizzeria needs to do to salvage their business during coronavirus. And they might all be simple things that are like items in the to-do list for you. Things like claim your Yelp page, claim your Facebook page, post once a day, update your hours, have a quick Everlink's website with your menu. Like, there are some really simple things that when you look around, most people are not doing them. And so this course called Book Formula, I think it's like the fifth iteration of us creating courses on how to make books. And it's easy for people out there to get really snobby, especially for some reason when it comes to book publishing, they project their own insecurities and their own perfectionism, and they say, oh, if you have a book, you need to have 10 editors working on it, and you need a professional cover made, and you need to spend 10 years on it. And the good news is that none of that is true. You can just put in whatever amount of time you want in your book, and if you put more time into it, it'll be better. But if you only have a couple of hours, then you can have something that is good enough to get you by. And in this day and age, there are tools out there like Canva where you can whip up a cover, or like Fiverr where you can get a cover made for $10. There are print-on-demand services where you can take that cover and you can just get a mock-up of your book made. And in Book Formula, we start you there. We say, you want to have a book in order to land this type of client, in order to provide this kind of service. And here's how you flesh out the concept, the hook, the title. Here's how you get the cover made. And then you just get a book sent in the mail to yourself with nothing but blank pages inside. But it's something where you can film videos where you're holding it up. You can, if you're a little, I don't know what's the word. If you're a little risky, or if you like to play it fast and loose, you could potentially go and walk into some of these businesses and say you have a book, but don't let them see the inside, right? You can have some fun with it. But then if you have 10, 20, 30 minutes on a Friday morning, then you could just write a couple of pages. And the pages can be even like bullet pointed lists. You can make it in large print. You can put a chunk on each page. And even like this book, you can kind of tell it's somewhat large print. And so a book doesn't have to have all this baggage that it used to. It doesn't have to be 400 pages long. It can 24 pages is pretty much the minimum. And if you think about it, well, the first page of your book can just be the cover again, right? The next page of your book could just be the copyright page. So, now you're down to only 22 pages needed. Another page can just be your table of contents. And so it doesn't have to be that complicated. You can just have a handful of pages, which, might even be your own like scribbles, your own written notes. Maybe you just set up a Facebook page, or you set up a website for some kind of local business, and now that's your standard operating procedure. Now that's your checklist, and you can dress it up a little bit, pretty it up a little bit, and then get it in a book. And then later on, if you feel like you want to add some pictures or you want to add some other introductory text or things like that, then because of the magic of print on demand nowadays, you can just edit the Word document you were editing where you made some new additions. You could save it. You could re-upload it to the print on demand service. And then now your book is updated. And you can publish your book on Amazon. We show you that in Book Formula, but we have a lot more fun playing around in the playgrounds of print on demand because you can make the book with no pages in it, and there's no one there to approve it, right? There's no Amazon reviewer saying, "Oh, you can't publish this on Amazon." This is something that you print on your own, and you can just edit it and improve it until it's Amazon ready. If that's an insecurity you have, you can get a whole box of books sent to you, so that way you can pass them out to these local business owners, or have a handful, or send them to customers. And so, I guess the thing that we kept in mind with Book Formula is that a book is scary for a lot of people because of all the things that people have told you so far in life. It doesn't have to be. People think that a book is expensive or time consuming or a lot of work. It doesn't have to be. You just chip away at it and you put in a little bit of time, a little bit of money as you want to build up your book business. And I think I'm on 14 books now, just from when the opportunity presented itself, when there was something that I needed to say, when I had an existing business I needed to promote, when I had a certain type of client that I wanted to go after. It was just like these books have been really great marketing tools to get me known for certain topics, to get my name out there, to make a little bit of sales, to land some clients. So having a book is easy and it can be fun if you want it to be.
Awesome. That is an incredible angle and approach to furthering your business, whether it's a local business or anything along those lines. You have a ton of ideas in your minds. Everyone that's listening, everybody has a book in them, or two or three, and in your case, 14 or 15, maybe 20 books in your brain. Absolutely incredible program, and the possibilities of leveraging it to position yourself, position your business for authority, credibility, celebrity is absolutely there. Robert, before I get into the next phase of this interview, where can people find out more information about that particular program?
Bookformula.com, BOOKFORMULA.com.
That's so awesome. Listen, if you guys are interested in an amazing way to get your book to come to life, go to bookformula.com. Now we're going to switch into one of our favorite topics, and we're going to be talking a little bit about local media assets. And since we've shared this with you, you guys have gone off the rails with your own local media assets and have brought something pretty cool to the table. You've put together a done for you program that we subscribe to, and I got to tell you, it's taken a load of work off of my plate, and the results that I get from the memes and the stories and the news stories that are being posted on a day-to-day basis on what we call local media assets has been nothing short of amazing. It's freed up a ton of time, and the outsourcing process is something that both David and I are or were completely new to. And when you brought this to our attention, it really opened up a whole new world of opportunity as well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your history and what your views are on the whole local media asset process. I know that I've stolen a ton of your memes. You are a meme machine. It's a daily source of my entertainment. And I fully admit that I have stolen so many memes from you that I'm just entertained. And by virtue of that, my audiences are entertained by that as well. So thank you for that. So why don't you bring us up to speed on your local media asset and tell us, what your experience has been with that whole entire process.
Well, my local media asset is called Local Turlock. And what it was interesting about the concept that you guys put out, this concept of a local media asset, is that Lance and I tried for so many years to land some local clients in town. We tried doing the donut drops We tried sending postcards, letters in the mail, messaging on Facebook and LinkedIn, showing up unannounced, calling and trying to make appointments. And we were always a nuisance, right? And it always seemed like either the local business that we'd walk into, whether for a while we tried dentist's office, I think I tried a few veterinarians offices, but and sometimes I try to like close my own accountant. And I think every internet marketer has maybe thought of that, been like, I go to the doctor, maybe I can be so slick, and while the doctor's treating me, I can, sell him a website package, and that never works, right? I think Lance, my business partner, he went into a chiropractor once, thinking that he was going to set up like a ClickFunnels page. The chiropractor sold him on some kind of 6-month package to like keep coming back for chiropractic appointments, but didn't end up with a website. Just the chiropractor sold him. And so your concept makes a lot more sense of having them come to you and building up your own news and event site. And and basically from my understanding of it, from what I've learned from you guys and what we set up, is we created a website, we create a Facebook page, and then we post regularly to it. Because if you don't post on your Facebook page or your website, then what the heck are you doing, right? There's nothing to react to, respond to. With the way things like move so fast, like you need to always be posting. And if you post the local news in your town or your area, then that's just always something new to like, it gives itself like new information to go on there. And now I don't even really look at any other news sources. I just go to local Turlock to find out what's happening in my town. And for that to happen, we pay people to go and find those news stories on a recurring basis. I think they go and find 3 news stories every day. They go and, kind of find what looks interesting and post to that site. And that's what we have running for you gents as well on your local pages. And then in between the serious stuff, in between the links and the news, then there are these things called memes, which everyone has seen, but and they're like they're graphics where it's like some kind of a joke or some kind of a screenshot from maybe a movie, maybe it's like Keanu Reeves doing something, and they seem to evolve over time, and they're always really timely, and they're like these there's always kind of like funny, ironic jokes, and it's just the way that kids these days are communicating, right? It's just I don't even know what it's. I wouldn't really call it like an expression or art form, but it's just like ways that people share jokes nowadays. And when people are coming and going, they're busy, they're scrolling through Facebook on their phone, there isn't enough time to always watch a 5-minute or a 10-minute skit or someone's 90-minute Netflix special. Sometimes there's just time to like see some kind of funny graphic and like it. And so if you sandwich the news and the information with these kind of fun memes, then it's not all serious, right? And people are now coming to your LMA, your local media asset page, to have fun and to kind of maybe sneak some information in there a little bit, but they're mostly having fun. And then you make Mr. Mark Zuckerberg happy, because Mark Zuckerberg says, well, there's so much happening on Facebook, right? There's so many posts, so many people are liking different pages besides yours, and there's no room to fit it all in, right? It's not like Mark Zuckerberg is going to show every single post you make to every single person that subscribes to you. There just isn't enough room. But Mark Zuckerberg says, well, do a lot of people click on the like button for What's Up Naperville or What's Up Syracuse or local Turlock? And if you have a page that gets a lots of response or engagement, then they will show your content more to people. And then also specifically, let's say that you have 2,000 people who are fans of your Facebook page, and you have maybe 100 people out of that who just are really rabid and active on your site, and they always make sure to wow or love or like haha your posts more than others, then they will show those posts to those top fans specifically. And so I think that you need to have both of those components in order to have a Facebook page that gets a lot of traffic, gets a lot of engagement, likes, comments, shares, that kind of thing. You need to be posting regularly, and you need for the news items, like at least 3 things per weekday, and then also be posting at least one of these silly memes and graphics per day. That way you're not all business, and that way you get people reacting to your page. So that way Mark Zuckerberg will show that to more people, and then they'll like it more. But it's a big time commitment, right? If you don't have someone else doing the work for you, then you have to remember when you wake up at 8 in the morning and you get your morning coffee, and you have to go and maybe waste an hour or two finding some news sources, and then maybe waste an hour or two finding a good meme. And then what if you don't feel like doing that on a Monday or a Tuesday? What if you let a week go by or 2 weeks go by because you have better things to do? Then you don't have a page where you're posting consistently. And Mark Zuckerberg doesn't like that either. And so the service for this is called DFY LMA, where we show you how to grant us special access to post to your page as a guest. And then we go and post the news articles to your website and to your Facebook page. And then we post the memes to your page to get people reacting and responding to some of the entertainment. So that way you get this local media asset, this news and events page where things are updated regularly, but then you don't have to be always circling back around and doing the work. It just happens magically on its own.
That's so awesome. Both David and I have directly benefited from your service. David, before we give Robert the opportunity to give his URL out about that particular service, where can people find out more information about local media assets?
The easiest way is to go to
deliciousmarketing.io /LMA.
I think that's probably the easiest way right there. We do have another vanity URL set up, but I can't remember what it is right now.
LMAclass.com.
LMAclass.com. That's what it is, Drew. I should have just asked you what the link was.
Hey, sometimes I got to keep you engaged in the conversation here, but yeah, that's where you can find information on that, guys. If you're interested in the whole local media asset process, we've got a bunch of people that have gone through the course. They're doing amazing things with their agencies, and they're kind of using and running a media company as a frontliner to their agency. So, Robert, with that said, with your particular service, are you still running that at this point? And if so, where can people find out more information about it?
We are still running it. That is at dfylma.com. And I was looking for somewhere I have a book. I have your book, like this version of the book with LMAclass.com printed on the bottom. But I promise I didn't throw it away. I think I gave it or sold it to somebody. But dfylma.com, that's short for Done For You Local Media Asset. And that way you can just get that off your plate. That way you can have our team go and find those news articles and post to your local page. And that way people in your town can find out about things happening nearby, not something that's happening off in some other country or some other side of the world, what's happening right there in their town, dfylma.com.
That's so awesome. Before we let you go, a couple wrap-up questions here. What does Robert Plank like to do in his off time now that you've got a young one there keeping you pretty busy? What else are you into? What do you like to do for fun?
For fun, I like to get out of the house. It's so easy to stay inside and get cooped up. I do geocaching every now and then, which is it's basically done with an app now where people hide different treasures in your local town or your local area. And then you go to the app and you say, okay, well, send me over to this treasure, and the GPS takes you in your car to wherever you want to go. You get out of your car and you kind of walk around and find one of those treasures. That's something that I don't do it regularly, but when I'm asked what my hobby is, it's that when I have time for it. But I always make time during the day to get out and take some pretty long walks. I go on at least a 1 hour walk every day. Some days, if time permits, 3 hours. Maybe sometimes I'll do like a 1 hour morning, 1 hour in the middle of the day, and 1 hour at night. And I think that that's really important in general, especially for some of us who are maybe computer people who think that we just need to always be getting at the computer. And then it's easy to fall into that cycle of work, TV, sleep. And I'm fighting that even now because, like you said, we have a little one. He was born on on May 6th. And we're kind of dealing with a little bit of a time management crisis of, well, who gets to sleep when and who takes the night shift, and then when are we both awake, so that way we can have these lives, and when is there time to go and do some of the work. And what's been really helpful with that is me and the wife, we both work at home, first of all, but then also we're both very eager to jump in and do what needs to be done. No one's half-assing, no one's leaving something out or leaving a mess for someone else to do. We're both eager to just do what needs to be done. And I think that everyone out there, if you're struggling in your business, figure out a way to get back into that mindset. Figure out a way if you've been wanting or needing to set up that local media asset, or if you've been delaying on creating a podcast, or if you've been in need to maybe record 10 quick videos to contact local business owners, figure out a way to be excited to do it. Don't just say, oh, I guess I'll do it, and I guess I'll just tough it out, and I'll spend 20 minutes getting this done and hating it the whole way through. Figure out a way to be looking forward to the work that you have to do. And I've been making sure to get enough sleep when I can. But me and the wife, we're so excited to change the baby's diaper. We're so excited to warm up the bottle and then kind of feed him and wait half an hour for him to eat it all, because we won't have the time again, right? It'll never, he's the youngest and the oldest that he ever will be. And if we're stuck at home from the quarantine or the virus or whatever the crisis is, by the time maybe people watch the replay of this, there will always be something. But I mean, we're so lucky to be living in this time that we're living in right now, because I mean, we all have video chat, we have internet access, we all have an LMA course or social media. There's all these tools and there's all these things that you can and should be doing in your business. But I think that you need to make the time, and you need to figure out a way to get yourself excited about doing it, and figure out a way to maybe do that on demand, because a lot of people think that they need to wait for inspiration to strike, right? They say, well, I'll wait around a couple of weeks, and then maybe one day when I get excited about building my website or creating the opt-in page, then I'll go and do it. And I mean, that might never happen. So sometimes you have to figure out a way to generate the excitement on demand, even for a few minutes, even if there's only time to put in 10, 20 minutes to contact those businesses or set up a messenger bot before the baby cries again. Figure out a way to work in that time. And then also the reason why the walking is important is to have that kind of quiet unplugging time where it's just me. I'm not having to be around people. I'm not on my phone. I'm getting some exercise in. And then there's the mental health aspect of, there's been all these studies of if you're walking in a forward direction, it just makes your brain think about what's the future. And maybe that will give you the time to unpack your goals or unpack those things that are really important to you, and just kind of let your brain unplug and wander and think about what do you want to accomplish this year, or that local Facebook page that you're setting up, what's missing. And in my case, I need to get back on recording a regular podcast where we kind of recap the news on about what's been happening in town. Something else that has come to mind from some of these walks is I need to be contacting some of these local business owners in my town and interview them, and then put a video, since we're all at home now, we're all on Zoom, put a video chat of that on that local Facebook page. Yep. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the mayor. It could be someone who works in City Hall. It could be some other local business owner who's in the Chamber of Commerce. There's all kinds of things where we can start humbly and we can start small and get whoever we can get. And I mean, you contact whatever local business in your town and just see if you can get them on a quick interview and post it on your page. So there's all these ideas, but it's easy to do the wrong things. It's easy to let the time get away from you. It's easy to do the quick tasks, the things that are not important, the things that don't make you money, and then step over the tasks that are really important. So I geocache, but I also make sure to get hours and hours every day of walking in just for the mental health reasons, and also to get my brain just refreshed on what needs doing. And then I get home, I get on the computer, I fit in what I can fit in. And then when I'm done with those marketing tasks, I get on the computer, get back to life, because why would you live your whole entire life sitting at the computer? It's not a way to live.
There you go. Sage advice from a programmer, a business owner, a new father, and somebody that's super involved in their own health. And that's awesome. You have to move things forward. And it's just been an amazing. I could sit here, listen to you for hours, getting all kinds of ideas for my local media asset and so much more. Before we wrap things up, let's kind of find out what's next for Robert Plank and Lance Tamashiro. What do you guys have your eyes on? Anything new? Any new things coming up relatively soon that we can promote for you?
Two things come to mind. Well, I mean, there's always things that promote for us. I have my podcast at marketeroftheday.com. We have another course called podcastcrusher.com. And as when we began our conversation, we were talking about how important it is to get yourself out there and don't just be the person hiding behind the computer, be the person that's on camera. And podcasting is a great way for you to do that. If there's anything that you think people need to know about your local town, start recording and say something really quick. If there's anything that you think that you could help shortcut someone else to figure out. Like in my case, it was, I learned all this programming and the son was brand new to programming. There are some things I could say, well, do this, don't do that to get you there quicker. So everyone needs to be podcasting. And then as far as what's up and coming and what's new, three things come to mind. One thing is that we are outsourcing more. And I showed both of you a screenshot this last weekend of all these little tasks that we have our employees doing nowadays. And it feels great because now we're only doing the things that give us energy, the things that excite us. And then even if, we all have bad days, right? Say you have a slow day where you don't get as much done as you wanted to, or maybe like you had some big emergency, even if the worst, or maybe baby poops a diaper, whatever, even if the worst thing happens, there are so many little things that just happen automatically every single day. And I have fun sometimes on like a Sunday afternoon, opening up the calendar and saying, okay, well, this person will do this on Friday at 9 a.m. and this person will do this on Tuesday at 10 a.m. And it feels really good to, first of all, have that big picture overview of what needs to happen. And then there's all these things that you don't have to do. And I think that everyone should look into having other people run their business. And a great way to get your toe in the water is go to dfylma.com and we can, taking over is the wrong way to put it, but we can take over the posting on your LMA page and your Facebook page. But that also means that you can keep on posting to it if you want. So you can have a real beast to be reckoned with where we do all our posting and you do all your posting. But if you have those weeks where you don't feel like posting, it still happens. And I think that it's really important for you to have at least one employee in your business, first of all, but then people hesitate about that. And the solution to that hesitation is have your employee make you money. Right? If you're paying someone $1,000 a month in your business and they're making you $3,000 a month every single month, you'd hire some more, right? Like it would be a no-brainer, and you would never let that person go because the amount of money that they're making you is more than what you're paying them. And if someone's making $12 an hour or $15 an hour at McDonald's, you better believe that McDonald's is making $20 an hour off them. They're not losing money on that person. But then a lot of us business owners are afraid of thinking that way. We think more in scarcity terms, not abundance terms. We think about how much this employee will cost, not how much this employee will make us. And even if your employee broke even, they're still building your business for free, basically, right? If you pay them $1,000 and they make you $1,000, but they're also generating videos and articles and getting you affiliates and writing you emails and sales copy, then it's in a way a free employee. So that's thing number one, is that you need to have some employee of your business and hire them and try them out for a little while. and give them tasks to do. The thing that it's been on my list for a while that I am ramping up more of is appearing on other people's podcasts. And I think that Drew and David, I think that you both need to be on the ride with me and deliberately make a point to be on, I mean, make a goal of like 100 shows, right? Find 100 different podcasts of like app creators, business owners, marketers, people like that, and just be on their show real quick like we're doing now and just have a quick chit chat. And some shows bring you a lot of traffic, some shows bring you not a lot, but I know that just from me not even trying, I appear on about one show per month, and I know that you two are on shows every now and then, but it is really my goal to deliberately be going after some of these people and maybe even be on as many shows as I have people on my show. So I have a podcast with 750 episodes. Each person's a different interview, but I need to be kind of having a 1-to-1 ratio of, if I have someone on my show, I need to be on maybe their show or just some other show in general. So that's thing number 2. So we said, number 1, outsource. Number 2, be on other people's podcasts. And the thing that's kind of on the horizon is to have some kind of a hosted service. And I think that you guys have some ideas that you've talked about privately about hosted services. And I mean, I have a handful as well, but it's one thing to like teach someone how to do something, right? And let's say like your kitchen faucet just starts spraying water and starts leaking all over the place, and you're like getting all kinds of pots and pans and gathering up all the water that's leaking, and they call a plumber, and the plumber says, "Hey, I'd like to sell you this ebook on how to fix your kitchen faucet." You'd say, "No, wait, this solved the problem for me." And I think that with a lot of the things that we teach, we can make it as simple as possible, right? Make it as simple as possible to make a book, as simple as possible to make a local Facebook page. Some people just want it done for them. And we recently have created a compilation book of some doctors where we made $57,500 from 2 emails, just from emailing doctors saying, "Would you like to be in a chapter of this book?" And then figuring out all the, publishing ins and outs for them. So, but I think kind of continuing in with that thought in this day and age I'm going to get into Geekland with WordPress multi-site, with Amazon AWS, you don't have to build up this whole huge infrastructure, right? I mean, Netflix doesn't own any servers. Netflix runs on Amazon. Netflix just pays Amazon. I mean, I'm sure it's a huge monthly bill every month, but Netflix just says, we wrote the software, it's hosted on Amazon, and then everyone just uses it. And so it's really easy these days to plug into some of these cloud services and make not just a done for you, but a hosted for you solution. So that's kind of what's coming up in the future there of, I mean, anything that we provide. I mean, host a podcast, host a membership site. There needs to be a way where if someone says, I want to make a course, to click a button, and then boom, now they have it hosted. And so that can kind of cut out the middleman. So that way we don't have to say, here's all this software you have to buy. There's all these things you have to learn. Now go over there and do it. Just kind of click a button and maybe even merge the hosting with the done for you, where it's like they can set up a podcast or a course, but maybe they just click a button and record their podcast, and then it assigns a task to our team, and then they add the music or they add the intro text, and it magically appears on their own website. I mean, I think there's something to that, right? In having something hosted and also something done for you. And it's kind of is like a magic box where you put in what you want done and it magically happens. And so yeah, that's what is in the future there, hosted plus done for you.
Love it.
Robert, sounds like you've got a results as a service coming along, and I'm really excited to hear about that. So once it comes out, let us know. We'll have you back on. We'll get it all promoted and let everybody know about it, because in the end, that's what people want is results. And that's clearly what you and Lance are and have been doing for quite some time. All right. So before we wrap things up, one more time, where can people find out more information about Robert Plank and all of the shenanigans that you're up to these days?
They can find me at marketeroftheday.com. That is a podcast where I've had you on, Drew, but I need to have David on soon. That is where, very soon, where we have that's an interview show where we have all kinds of cool and crazy people. Like I've interviewed some guy that he was all about buying and selling websites. And it just blew my mind how he talked about you can, buy a website for 30 grand, sell it for 500 grand. So we have all kinds of interesting people like that on that show. That's marketeroftheday.com. The book creation course where you can just get the mock-up made quickly and then add to your book as you go and get it published on Amazon. We even cover getting your book made into audiobook form. We cover getting your book kind of personalized where you can put different people's picture on the cover, make a local book. That is bookformula.com. And then everyone needs a podcast for the very least, so you can record all these cool things that you are doing and talking about in your business. I mean, whenever I'm gone, whatever in the decades in the future, once I've died of old age, my son will have just like weeks and weeks worth of content of he can dial in and figure out all these cool things that his dad was doing years ago. Everyone needs to have a podcast to document your own comings and goings in your business, to involve other people, to get people to come up on your show for an interview, and then maybe you appear on other shows. Podcastcrusher.com is the place to get your podcasts rocking and rolling. And then because you and David teach these local marketing assets, right? LMAs, setting up a local news and events page. And we like to make it easy for people to get that done, to get the memes posted, to get the news articles posted. DFYLMA.com is the place to have us run that for you. And you can still go and do whatever you want to your page and post in between what we post. But this gets something off your plate. This gets your business running on its own somewhat. DFYLMA.com for us to automatically post news and memes to your site and your Facebook page.
Love it. Robert, you've been an amazing guest. I think you need to go out for another hour's worth of walking, go find some treasures in your geocaching, because my goodness, you have too much going on. That's so awesome. David, anything final before we wrap things up?
I think we've said it all. Robert is an interesting guy with a lot going on, and we got to get out and get on some podcasts. He's got me inspired.
Yeah. Well,
and we still have not met in person. It feels like the three of us have with all the video chatting. Someday we need to meet in person.
We will.
We're going to be heading out to Turlock real soon. So once all this quarantine's over, I got to find out what Turlock is all about. Yeah. So with that said, Robert, much love to you and your wife and your brand new addition to your family. Please enjoy your day and your time with your son. Congratulations again. I'm sure he's super proud of you. And to all of our guests, please go ahead and visit the plethora of web pages that Robert has just provided to you. I guarantee that you will not be disappointed. All of those services are amazing. They will free up your time and your energy and deliver all kinds of value to you and your local business. So with that being said, David, let's wrap things up and we'll catch everybody on the next episode.
Go right now to marketeroftheday.com/iTunes to subscribe to the show, listen to other episodes, and rate and review the show.